Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Crypto Takeover coming back with another Bitcoin crypto market analysis video for y'all this evening. We're going to dive on into the charts, take a look at what Bitcoin might be setting up for a tremendously big breakout here soon. All right, everyone. So thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way y'all can be updated. We're going to be going over the Bitcoin charts alongside with the silver and gold market as well. Taking a look at where we might be expecting some pretty big breakouts relatively soon. So let's start off with Bitcoin, and we're going to start off on some of our lower time frames here, maybe the 90-minute. I think I like the 90-minute time frame to start us off with, and just see where we might be able to anticipate a relatively big breakout here soon. So looking at the 90-minute time frame, it does look like we are starting to round off a little bit here, maybe anticipating possibly another structured move to the downside, maybe with our money flow. But as we start to zoom out here, we can kind of get a broader picture of where things might be headed. Looking at the 2-hour time frame here, it does look like we have some pretty big support below us as of right now that we'll have to wait to see if we're going to continue to ride up along this purple trend line here on the 2-hour time frame. Let's go on into the 4-hour time frame, see what's happening here. 4-hour time frame also forming somewhat of a trend line down here at our peak point at about the 9.8 8K area, 9.8. And that's probably going to be a nice little substantial trend line for us to probably hold in between. It does look like we have another nice trend line above us around the 11.2K area. More than likely, I'm looking for us to kind of continue sideways. As of right now, it does look like we've had a blood diamond here, but didn't quite play out to the downside just yet. So, but that could be, ready to maybe give us another red dot. Possibly another blood diamond, and then maybe anticipate a move further to the downside. That's a possibility. Looking at our money flow here, we know that when our money flow starts to thin out for the most part, we're going to be taking a look at our blue waves to kind of anticipate maybe a move from there. So going on into the 6-hour time frame, 6-hour time frame also giving us another blood diamond. Money flow pretty thin here on the 6-hour too as well. We did have some trend line breaks, but didn't quite play out the way we wanted it to. I had been telling the members group that I want to see a trend line break on the 12-hour, a clean trend line break on the 12-hour to say the least. And it looks like we hadn't really gotten that clean trend line break on the 12-hour. So what I'm keeping an eye out on is really these higher time frames, because it looks like we're going to have some consolidation here. We could start to see a little bit more of a sell-off as of right now too. So that's probably going to be a nice trend line resistance above head, this green line trend line resistance all the way back at the 12.5K area, right? And that's where we're really having trouble breaking through. It looks like we've already wicked through it a couple of times, which definitely weakens the trend line for the most part, but it still looks like we are getting rejected by our candle body closes. And if we are seeing that rejection, then more than likely we're going to probably have another little push to the downside here. Even on our 12-hour, it looks like we're getting a nice little EMA squeeze too. So I'm expecting a relatively big move either to the downside or possibly breaking through this green trend line to the upside. But we're probably going to have to wait another couple of days. Maybe I would maybe even expect a move possibly by tomorrow, either to the downside or to the upside. I would wait for a clean trend line break here, or maybe a break below the 21 EMA, which is our orange EMA here too, to maybe take a breakout trade possibly. Going on into the 21-hour, let's see what we have here. The 21-hour also giving us a somewhat of a trend line break as of right now, but it does look like we are kind of seeing a little bit of a doji here. To maybe the markets are a little bit unsure of whether or not they want to pump right now or not. We just had our presidential debate, election debate as of yesterday, and I don't really know if the prices of the market were moving because of that, or if it may be something else like a stimulus package that may be wanting to get passed. So we're going to go over a few of our other charts and just kind of be aware of what some of the other markets might be saying as well too. I do want to let everyone know we do have our Path to Cryptocurrency course that is available if you are interested in checking that out. It's a beginner's guide to get started and how to start getting money from fiat into cryptocurrency through this course. Then we also go over some altcoins, some DeFi projects, how to get started in DeFi as well too. You can come down here and look at all the modules that we have, how to store your cryptocurrency safely, and a few other modules too. So we're updating this periodically. Once you join, you'll have access to a private category on our Discord server as well too, and you can discuss all the relative things about cryptocurrency in there after watching through some of the modules. So we still have a pretty good pricing listed for this beginner guides course to cryptocurrency. So I'd recommend getting signed up for it now before we decide to raise the price on it too as well. And then also we have our Patreon trading group, which is available for you as well. I will be editing these tiers, but right now we do have our 35% off special. I plan on upgrading. Actually, Patreon just released a yearly membership that is available, and I will make it cheaper for the people that sign up for the yearly membership. So I will be posting that tier here pretty soon. You can stay up to date whenever that tier gets posted through our Discord page or through our Telegram channel page as well. So I'm giving announcements out through the Telegram channel first, and then later on through the Discord server as well. So make sure that you're subscribed to both. Make sure that you join our Telegram channel and our Discord page to stay up to date with us and what we have going on. And then also I'll be sending out a newsletter probably within the next couple of days on the pricing for the yearly Patreon membership page too as well. And then we're also doing a giveaway at 3,000 subs. So once you subscribe to the newsletter, we will be making a drawing for a $100 giveaway in one of our favorite altcoins once we hit the 3,000 sub mark. So make sure that you're subscribed, make sure that you're sharing the video, make sure that you like this video, you comment down below. Let me know what charts you want me to go over, and I will get around to doing videos on those later on. But let's jump back into the charts here really quick. And we can also take a look at our 21-hour, noticing that we have some nice resistance above head. We're going to have to wait to see how this doji wants to play out. If we get another rejection and another red dot here on our blue momentum wave, then I definitely feel like we could see some consolidation between maybe the 10.5K area and this green trend line above head. So going on into the daily chart, let's take a look and see what's going on here. Our daily chart also has a nice trend line support down here at our purple trend line, which is right at about the 10.2 area or so. I would expect a little bit of support right around the 10.5K area. But if we don't have that support, then I'm looking for the 10.2K area for us to hold support at. And if we break below this 10.2K area, then I'm definitely anticipating another drop, maybe even down into the 9K region. So Bitcoin's really going to have to kind of test its waters here for the next couple of days, maybe, unless we get a breakout by tomorrow. That's going to be a substantial play to see whether or not we can hold 10.5, or if we have a break to the upside, seeing if we break through that resistance on our 12-hour and our 21-hour too as well. But this looks like major resistance above head for us right now. We've been getting rejected. We wicked through it a couple times, which also weakens our trend lines, but I would rather be safe and wait for a clean trend line break above this this trend line, and then take that breakout trade maybe then. So just some key areas to keep a lookout for. But let's go on into, we could go on into some of the higher time frames. Yeah, it looks like we are getting our buy signals popping off now on our 3-day. We don't have a quite, we haven't quite confirmed this breakout, but it does look to be relative, to possibly our 12-hour time frame, only because it looks like we are getting a green triangle here. So if this green triangle confirms with a buy signal, then yeah, I'm more than likely going to be relatively bullish, but we'll have to wait to see how the next couple of days play out. This next trend line will confirm on the October 3rd, so it does look like we have a little while until then, until Saturday, until this 3-day confirms, and then we'll play off of that position more than likely. But it does look like we are finding support on our 0 pivot point here, on our 4-day chart too as well. So maybe expecting a green dot here on the 4-day. Bitcoin definitely looking to maybe make a breakout here pretty soon within the next couple of days or so. But I'm going to have to wait to see how our 12-hour and our 21-hour wants to play out. If we get a bullish trend line break above here, then yeah, more than likely it's going to lead to another substantial rally. So let's go on to our fiat currencies and take a look at the DXY to see how much of a correlation we can find between these two markets. And lo and behold, we did have our green trend line break above here as well, with a clear rejection at the 100 EMA. For the most part, it looks like we had that clean rejection with the 100 EMA. So the dollar currency is definitely probably anticipating a little bit more of a sell-off, which would give Bitcoin the room to pump to the upside, right? You know that these markets kind of teeter-totter off of each other. So if we're looking at the DXY and we're seeing a sell-off, well, that gives room for Bitcoin to start to pump, along with gold and silver too as well. And those are the other charts that we're going to be taking a look at here after we come off of the DXY. So let's see if we've had some sell-offs here with maybe our higher time frames than the 1-day chart. So going on into the 2-day chart here, looks like we are seeing a little bit of a doji here. Possibly our VWAP and our blue momentum wave are ready to give us a red dot here pretty soon, which would definitely lead probably another push to the downside with the dollar index, right? Maybe even a retest on this trend line that we've had back here. But we're going to have to wait to see. It does look like more than likely Bitcoin, we're going to see some room to the upside here. The only thing I would be a little skeptical about is that our money flow on our daily chart with the DXY is starting to move to the upside. So if we do start to see a retest on this trend line, or maybe even at the 21 EMA, then we could probably expect a bounce and then maybe see some consolidation or an EMA squeeze between these two EMAs, our 21 and our 100, out to the side before we decide a clear break on the market. So more than likely, this is going to actually give us a little bit more of consolidation out to the side, maybe a little bit more time for us to accumulate the crypto that needs to be accumulated before we see another big rally in these crypto markets. But we're going to be taking a look at the DXY charts pretty much on every single video too as well, to kind of correlate to see how it's going to play out with the Bitcoin charts and the cryptocurrency charts as well too. Let's also take a look at the total coin market cap. Just to see what's going on. We could take a look at the altcoin total market cap and see how this is kind of playing out with altcoins as of right now. This is the same trend line that Ethereum was giving us a couple of days ago too, and we did have a nice little bounce. It looks like we are retesting that trend line though, but Ethereum's also going to be in correlation with most of the altcoins too as well. I was waiting for Ethereum to probably break above our purple trend line. It looks here on the total coin market cap, excluding Bitcoin, so the altcoin market cap is seeing a little bit of a rejection at this purple trend line. Money flow also kind of rounding out here, for the most part. So I'm expecting maybe some altcoins to probably have a little bit of a pullback for right now, and then wait to see what they can do here in the near term future. But it does look like we are still seeing some green dots on our higher time frames here for the most part. And let's see if we've had a buy signal. Not a buy signal yet on our 3-day. So yeah, the daily is definitely looking like it's kind of rounding off here for the most part, but we could see this nice little three-wave pattern kind of playing out, and maybe even a fourth wave pattern that might want to play out too as well, just based on our higher time frames with our altcoin market cap. Our money flow is still looking relatively nice here, and it doesn't look like we are going to be rounding off too much. So I would expect probably another bounce here with our money flow on our daily to send us back to the upside, more than likely, based on these green dots that we're even getting on like the 2-day and the 4-day probably. So it still looks like we have a lot of potential in the cryptocurrency markets as of right now, as the dollar index continues to sell off too as well. Let's take a look at gold and silver and see what's happening. Let's take a look at gold first, and then we'll go from there. So we've had a couple of trend lines here that have broken out to the downside. As you can see, we were playing off of a couple trend lines here, and it does look like they've broken bearish for the most part as well. But it looks like we are finding support at the 21 EMA. That's on the 4-day. Let's take a look at our daily here and see what's happening. As you can see, a nice little bounce back up to the 21 EMA after we broke below it. And then what we're probably expecting is maybe a little bit of an EMA squeeze to one direction or the other. Money flow still looking pretty thick there. On the daily, we did have a blood diamond here on the 2-day. It looks like we are finding support. Another key trendline area to keep an eye out here on gold and silver is this gold chart. Our 2-day gold is giving us a nice little trendline support here, right at about the 1800 area or so with gold. I would expect probably another bounce. It looks like we are having a little bit of a green dot here too as well. So yeah, it looks like gold's probably going to give us another green dot here. And then if we take a look at silver, let's take a look at silver for the most part, finding a nice big green dot down here on the daily chart too as well. And then also maybe anticipating another green dot here on the 2-day with our VWAP that's ready to kind of still move to the upside. 3-day chart. Possibly a green dot there. Our 4-day chart not looking as bullish. You can see here that we are finding support above our 21 EMA. I would expect probably some more support here as these lower time frames start to give us a few more green dots, and then maybe some consolidation out to the side before we see another big turnaround within the silver market as well. But we know that the gold market is probably going to be a key leading indicator for some of the tangible assets or some of the alternatives for people to move their money into besides the fiat currency market, right? And I did want to also take a look at some of the oil rigs and some of the oil markets too as well. I've heard that some of these correlate to whether or not Bitcoin could be pumping as well too or not, just based on economic standard, and then also priced in with the dollar. If we start to see the dollar and oil start to sell off, then we can maybe anticipate maybe gold and silver to pump, and also Bitcoin to pump too as well. So as you can see here on the daily, money flow is definitely rounding off here. This was our last Corona dump, and you can see that we're just making this parabolic arch that looks like we're ready to kind of more than likely sell off again. With oil, I don't know if that's going to lead to a second lockdown. I mean, we are starting to move into winter as well too, and this could more than likely, stem from a second lockdown and people, possibly closing up shop too as well. We'll have to wait to see exactly what's going to be the indicator for us to maybe anticipate more of a sell-off here, but this doesn't look too pretty for oil right now. We're getting rejected with our bullish trend line here, and we're breaking below one of our bearish trend lines for the most part. So it does look like we have our purple triangle here to the downside. Even the 2-day, it looks like we've already signaled that purple trend line break to the downside. Our EMAs did look like they want to cross to the upside, but Still seeing a lot of resistance here. It looks like we're going to get rejected on the 2-day with the red dot there pretty soon, and then maybe even the 3-day. The 3-day hasn't ever given us a green dot just yet. Money flow is still looking pretty thin here on our oil, so it looks more than likely like we'll continue to head further down to the bottom side. Even on our 4-day chart, it looks like we did want to get a green dot, but more than likely going to see a rejection there based on the 3-day chart as well too. So something to take note of. For the most part, we tried to get back up above, you know, the $53 area or so, but it, more than likely we got rejected, and we're gonna have to wait to see if our 4-day or our 5-day chart wants to break back below our 21 EMA and continue a bearish downtrend from there. So more than likely, this is giving crypto a nice possible move to the upside here within the next day or so. I would imagine this definitely looks like our 21 EMA and our 12 EMA. I mean our 21 our 21-hour chart. It's gonna probably give it room to maybe break up above here and maybe break bullish. So let's say we are to break bullish above here. If we are to take our 1-point extension, maybe from, I would say probably right here at our second touch to the downside. Let's see where we might be headed to. 50% halfway area would be right at about 11.3K. And then if we are to really fulfill this 1-point extension out, you know, that's going to lead us all the way maybe back up to even 12K, around the 11.9K area. So some key areas to kind of take a look for, to maybe have some retracement all the way back up. If we are to even draw a trend line out, maybe from the side of where we were holding support at our last substantial, you know, peak up above 12K, that's going to lead us right to about 11.2K, 11.3K. So yeah, I'm definitely maybe anticipating another possible bullish push to the upside here. But we'll have to wait to see how this wants to play out. If not, we consolidate out a little bit more, find support around the 10.5K area, and then wait to see what happens from there. So thanks for sticking around, folks. I hope that y'all are enjoying the other comparison charts as well too. I think they help kind of give us a broader perspective of where the markets might be headed to as well if we take a look at some of those other charts. So thanks for sticking around. If y'all are interested in picking up Market Cipher, I have a link in the description box below. And then, as most of y'all know, I teach y'all how to set up your charts just like mine inside of the Patreon page as well. If y'all have any questions about that, feel free to message me on Discord. And without further ado, I won't stick around too much longer. So I'll see you on the next one. CTO signing out. Peace.